Hey guys, Adam Savage here from Tested in My Cave. As you can tell from my flowing mane, we are still on lockdown. I think this is like week 9 or 10. And I've got a show and tell for you, a MythBusters show and tell. Over the course of the 13 years that we made MythBusters, oh, hi, sweetie, come on. Here we go. Over the course of the 13 years that we made MythBusters, I built a lot of different things. And a lot of it was mechanical engineering, a lot of it was just methodological. And every now and then I got to build something that was really fun in and of itself to build and to see the result of the build. I think one of the earliest ones for me was that, sweetie, it's almost her dinner time, so she's letting me know. I think one of the earliest ones was the Chinese rocket chair. I got to make a pair of Chinese thrones out of plywood, and it was a bunch of scenic techniques and stuff like that. Look, here's some pictures of some of the stuff I was particularly fond of building and happy that I built on MythBusters. Here's a little compendium of some of the things I built. Growing plants with microwave water. Yeah, there are a few. However, it's now been 5.5 years since we wrapped MythBusters. Can you believe it? 5.5 years. And 5.5 years later, I still have a lot of those things that I built for the show. They're in storage. Some of them are touring around the country in the explosive exhibition. But the distance of time gives me some perspective, and the affection I feel for some of the pieces is surprising. And today's show and tell is actually one of them. One of my favorite episodes we ever did was airplane boarding. What is the most efficient way to board an airplane? We tested it on MythBusters. We did a huge amount of research on it, and it was a really, really fun episode to shoot. This was a point at which our production was getting better and better and better at wrangling large groups of people, which is non-trivial from a production standpoint. You've got to feed them, you've got to give them someplace to go, you've got to get all the releases signed. And Yvette Solis, one of our producers, just became super excellent at managing large groups of people. And we started expanding what we thought we could test. That's when we started doing the zombie episodes. And airplane boarding was one of them. We had 225 volunteers for 2 separate days. We had a bunch of flight attendants from Southwest Airlines helping us out as consultants and to be our official flight attendants. Those ladies were so awesome. I actually ran into one of them recently on a Southwest flight. Recently, I mean a year or 2 ago. But I remember this episode with nothing but fondness. As you know, in MythBusters, I would frequently dress up in costume, and that episode was no different. In fact, I wanted to dress up as a pilot. And this is when I discovered that there are some things that you might want to wear that other people might not want you to wear. What I mean is, if you're dressed convincingly as a pilot, you could probably move through an airport and get through parts of an airport easier than a civilian. There's a famous early Man Show episode where Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla dress up in pilot's uniforms and actually get drunk at LAX. Just priceless comedy. Suffice to say, it is hard to put together an excellent pilot's uniform. And it's hard on purpose. It's hard to get the right hat. It's hard to get the right epaulets. It's difficult to get the right tie clip even. There are all these aspects to it that there are cheap versions and then there is the right version. And the right version is it's non-trivial. But I did. I put together an excellent pilot's uniform because I thought I'm going to be the pilot for this episode, right? This is the costume I want to wear. And then I thought, if we're building this whole plane where we did these steel structures, I mean, it was a really elaborate construction, something like 70 feet long. We had full luggage racks we rented from Faith Aerospace, I think, and chairs that we rented, and we mounted them to the ground. I mean, it was one of the more involved episodes methodologically. And I realized we needed a cockpit. So I built one, and I built it in about an hour. And every now and then you jump into a speed build. And this especially comes from commercial work where you never had more than, maybe you had a day to build the rig for some commercial. And it might have even been a Super Bowl commercial. Maybe you get 2 days. It's like speed, speed, speed. And every now and then a speed build shows up and you realize, oh, I want to make a cockpit. We got to go onto the set. Okay, so let me build this really quickly. And all the aesthetics just like fall into place. Like a reverse house of cards, right? It goes like this. And this is one of them. This is my cockpit from the MythBusters airplane boarding episode. I know, it is ludicrous, right? This is literally like the cockpit that 12-year-old me would have made. But that's why I love this thing so much, is it feels like the cockpit that 12-year-old me would have made. It also feels a little like a Dubuffet sculpture to me. But that aside, there's something about sitting in front of this thing that it makes me smile. It's totally real. That feeling that a kid has when they set up some cardboard, as I did. I made a spaceship in my parents' guest room closet. And Maggie, it's just going to be a couple more minutes. And then I took the red gaffer tape and made all these dial arrows. And and I literally used one brush to do all of this painting. I think that these might be Sharpie marks for some of the smaller details, but this was about an hour from start to finish. It's weirdly built. I cut these weird pieces out of some 2x4s that Jamie had, and this is some scrap ply. It's screwed and glued, but it's barely holding together. I've had to repair it a couple times in storage, and yet I'm gonna keep this thing forever. Like, I love it. It exemplifies for me a very specific ethos of joy in a build and a deep connection to my past self, right? Like, making stuff like this that made me smile is the whole reason I became a maker to begin with. Yeah. So making it again to make myself smile is this lovely throughput. It's this long, right? It's a long tendril from me to past me to future me, and this beautiful cockpit piece. I love it. I have no idea how to display it. That's one of my issues. It's a big footprint, so it's been floating around the shop when I decided to bring it out of storage and bring it over here. And I'll have to figure out exactly how to display it. It may hang from the ceiling somewhere, I'm not sure. But, oh, right. You've been wondering the whole time, what did we conclude about airplane boarding? Yeah. You're not going to like the answer. The answer is the most efficient way to board an airplane is random seat assignment, everyone boards. Like, no priority to whoever boards. As soon as you give someone a seat assignment and you make them get on a plane, they're going to pause to look for their seat and all hell breaks loose. We boarded a plane, it was like half as fast as the next, I can't remember the numbers, but it was so much faster. The problem with random seat assignment and random boarding is that everyone hates it. Everyone feels like they're getting shafted by this deal. So that's why we have other methods. Because when people say, I wish I knew the fastest way to board an airplane, the answer is, no, you don't. You know, but you don't want to do that. Because if I gave you the choice, would you like to have random seat assignment and random boarding on every plane? You'd be like, no. Yeah, but that is the fastest way. By the way, the flight attendants that we had as consultants on our airplane boarding episode confirmed that flight attendants do enjoy walking up the aisle, farting, and you can't hear it above the noise of the airplane, and they call it crop dusting. Thank you for joining me for this show and tell. This has been a MythBusters walk down memory lane. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay away from each other, stay indoors, and I'll see you guys next time.